Hi, so I'd like to introduce you to what is probably my new favorite book ever, The Child Thief by Brom. This book is amazing. I love it. Just, oh my goodness. It is just the best. It is the characters, the plot, the setting, the everything. It's just so good. The illustrations. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Read it. Read it. Read it. This book is so amazing. It is just, oh my goodness. The characters are like Game of Thrones level characters, guys, and that is high praise. They are amazing. They're so complex, so diverse. None of them are bad or good. They're both like good and bad. They're just amazing. I do have to put a warning onto this video, onto this book, because I've seen some people do reviews, and this is the one thing that people don't like about it, is that this is very dark. It's a very dark book. It is a Peter Pan retelling, but it is based on the original J.M. Barrie Peter Pan retelling, and the author was inspired by like a line or something in the first Peter Pan, the original, and this is the line. He wrote it like at the back of the book in like the author information thing. The boys on the island vary, of course, in numbers according as they get killed and so on, and when they seem to be growing up, which is against the rules, Peter thins them out. That's a very dark line from the original, which I need to read because it sounds very interesting. He was inspired to write this book from that and a lot of other things, so it's very dark. It deals with a lot of dark issues, so if you don't like that type of book, it is a horror, that's one of the genres of this listed under. It's also urban fantasy and some other stuff. But yeah, if you don't like this type of book, then still read it, but just know that it's very dark. I'm gonna read you the prologue just to give you an idea of how dark this book is. This is the start of the book, guys. Also, there's a map at the start, which is always good. It's a good sign. This is the prologue. It would happen again tonight. The really bad thing. The girl had no doubt. It had started a few months ago, around the time her breasts had begun to develop, and now, with her mother gone, there was no one to stop him. From her bedroom, she could hear him pacing the cluttered living room of the cramped apartment. He was in one of his fits, muttering to himself, cursing the television, his boss, the president, Jesus, but mostly cursing her mother for taking all those pills, cursing her to hell and back over and over. But her mother was dead, and would never have to suffer through another one of his tirades, not ever again. The girl wished she were that lucky. There came the sharp snap of beer tab, then another, and another. Her hands began to tremble, and she clutched them to her chest. She wished she could fall asleep, then she would at least be spared the waiting and the dread. But she knew there would be no sleep for her tonight. So that's the start of this book. It definitely deals with some big issues, and there are a lot of really dark and creepy and cruel things that happen in this book. But it's an amazing, amazing, amazing book, and I definitely recommend it to you. Now I should probably tell you about like what it's about, because that's kind of important. This is about a boy named Peter who has red hair, golden eyes, and pointy black shoes, and that's him on the cover. And he rescues children out of really bad situations like the one in the prologue, or like, you know, if they're in a gang, and or if they're being chased, or if they're in neglected families, just stuff like that. He rescues them, and he gives them the opportunity to come with him to a place called Avalon. And Avalon was once a very beautiful, lush, and magical place, but it is now grey, and there's a lot of war going on. But he doesn't tell that to the children before they say yes. He kind of just offers them the opportunity to come with him to a different place where there are no adults. And so if you say yes to him, he will take you there, and he's bringing children to this place to help him to fight the war and to save Avalon. And so that's kind of the premise of the story. One of the people that he brings to Avalon is a boy named Nick, and those are the two perspectives of the book. So from Nick's perspective, who's just come to Avalon and who, you know, is like inserted into this really strange, different world, and is just being saved by Peter. And then it's also through the perspective of Peter. And through Peter's perspective, he remembers things that have happened, so you kind of get flashbacks of his life and how he was made into the character that he is now. And those flashbacks are incredibly sad and also really amazing, because it really shows you how he was made into the character that he is. But yeah, so that's what this book is about. My favorite thing is about this book. Basically, I loved everything, but I feel like I need to tell you like specific things so that you can buy it, because you need this book in your life. The characters, like I said, Game of Thrones level. They are amazing. They're all complex. Even the bad guys in this book they still have redeemable qualities. They still have goodness in them. You still empathize with them. The captain character in the fairy tale, and in this book you empathize with him, and I actually really liked him as a character. Peter is crazy and slightly cruel, and he is motivated by his own purposes. And you know, at times you don't really like him because of the way that he treats the children, because he's kind of using them. But in the same way, he kind of loves these children. He treats them as his brothers and sisters, like his family. And he's been with a lot of them for a long time because you don't age in Avalon. I also really like Nick. He kind of is Peter's foil in this book, so he kind of shows you Peter's flaws because he questions Peter a lot, and Nick is kind of very different to Peter, but he's also similar in a lot of ways. The other thing I really liked about the story is the setting. The setting of Avalon is amazing. Even in the city before they get to Avalon, they're in Boston. That's where Peter steals the children, or offers them the chance to come to this magical place. The atmosphere of the place just was amazing. I just felt like I was there, and I felt kind of the reflected sadness and despair of the children that were there in those situations. And Avalon is just this magical place. It's kind of like all grey, and but it kind of has that aspect of magic that's just hidden beneath the surface. And there are fairies, like little fairies flying around everywhere. And the children live in this giant tree, like inside of the tree, behind this thick round door, and you kind of always feel that kind of danger lurking outside, that unknown lurking outside. The illustrations added so much to the story. So this is an illustration of inside of the tree where the children are living, and it just added so much because I can see everything. At the start of each chapter there's a new illustration. Yeah, and then also in the middle of the book there are these colored illustrations of the different characters that are in the story. Another thing I liked was the plot. It was so unexpected, and I was so surprised by everything that was happening. The characters are so unexpected, and they just do like such interesting things. Their decisions and the way that they make them and the things that they do just surprise me continually, and I love that. The new things that are added along, like the way, the magic, the lore, the fantasy elements of this book, I just loved all of it. Everything was amazing. I just love this book. The way that the author writes is so clear, and it just shows you things, especially the cruel things that happen in this book, in such a clear and just real way. It doesn't sugarcoat things, it just presents it to you. I recommend it to you so much. It is amazing. Read it, you guys. Definitely check it out. I hope you enjoyed this review, and I hope it was helpful, and I will see you next time. Bye.